Welcome to the CEN show, where we present the voice of the community. The CommunityEducationNetwork.com is a platform to aid the effort of self and collective improvement. Tonight, we got part two of Brother Mooco hosting. So I'm gonna turn it over to him. All right, Brother Mooco, do your thing.
How you doing, family? Hope everything is well tonight. Hope everybody can hear me fine and clear. If anytime I mumble, just let me know. Don't mind the interruption. I think we left I know we left off on nature and the topic of gods. And I say gods with a plural. Gods. So I think that's where we'll pick up at. And this is religion / spirituality. In the last segment, we came to I hope we all came to a clear understanding about the differences between religion and spirituality. One thing being that religion and spirituality definitely has nothing to do with one another. One is based on beliefs, and the other is based on knowing, knowledge, nature. So where we think where we picked up off, where we're going to pick up off of is I think we made it clear about emotions, not thinking, and the evidence and the importance of evidence being showed by nature. So to start this off, I know last time I started off with religion, so I'll start off with spirituality this go around. In spirituality, I use the word spirituality and nature as synonymous because we take our cues from nature, being that we're beings of nature. So with that being said, when we talk about spirituality, spirits being the root word of spirituality, we clearly understand that we're talking about unseen energies, which is, and the energy that I'm speaking of is the energy that's speaking to you right now. And of course, the energies that are receiving this energy that's speaking to you right now, they are the same energies, which we call spirit, or we refer to as spirit. The importance of words are so important when you're dealing with spirituality, because in the system that we are born into, with this language that we're given, which is called English, it's very, very limited. Okay, it's copied from, not copied, but it derives from a language that our ancestors used, which we have been taught is called hieroglyphics, but the real name of that language indeed is called Madu. Hieroglyphics is sort of like the bastardized term that was made up by the Greeks. But Madu is the word Madu actually means language. And a word that you probably heard me or Brother Hembrick use from time to time, nectar. Nectar is the word that we have been taught is God. Okay. So to kind of bring this in real smoothly, in this existence, we have a certain way of doing things. Like from the time you wake up, no matter what race you are, you might have to do something like use the restroom. We all do it. That's a process of being in this physical existence. Well, you have a process and processes that are going on in the spiritual existence as well. And paying attention to nature will help you recognize some of those spiritual, I say chores, daily chores that you have to do daily. Not just, it's for you in this existence, but more importantly, it's for you to prepare for when you leave this existence. And this activity that I'm talking about is the passing down of tradition. Okay. A lot of things that we are beating our heads metaphorically against the wall about these days, our ancestors already figured out. And the evidence of this is written on some walls and some things that we might call pyramids. Some things are right outside our door. A lot of things are right outside our door that we have not even been paying attention to since we've been born, not really sat and paid attention to. And these things are kind of interlocked, these traditions that I'm about to speak about. The one thing that used to hold these traditions in place was a thing that we know as a calendar, okay? And I know you're probably thinking like, oh man, Brother Mooco, what the heck does a calendar have to do with spirituality, brother? Where are you going at with this? Well, I'm about to explain to you. Remember last time I told you I was unpacking this slow, and we still unpacking this slow. When you look at your calendar today, and apologies for being late to the party today, but I didn't bring my Greco-Roman calendar. But I'm sure brothers and sisters at home that's viewing me right now, you may have your regular calendars sitting in front of you right now. My wife I think she's looking for one right now. I don't have too many Greco-Roman calendars around the house. And what that means, all that means is your modern day calendar. When I say Greco-Roman, that means Greek Roman calendar, because these calendars that you have today are Greek and Roman calendars. Even though they might not have Roman numerals on it, these calendars that we go by today were brought into existence by something called decree, okay? And this is not anything that Brother Mooco is saying. You can look this information up. I mean, they are pretty, our I hate to even refer to them as historical enemies, but our historical enemies they do make a habit of bragging and leaving record of the destruction that they left behind. You know, it's just sometimes we like to fabricate stuff and bend stuff to the way that we want it to be. But this is just the way it was. I didn't have anything to do with it. Did you find a Greco-Roman calendar? You couldn't find a modern calendar? You happen to have one? Okay. Well, anyway, with that being said, the calendar that we go by today, what does the calendar provide for you today? Okay. You might want to sit back and ask yourself that question, but I'm going to answer it for you so that we can be, just for the sake of time and the sake of confusion, to cut down confusion. Your calendar shows you how to, your calendar is supposed to show you how you relate in space and time. So when you look at your modern day calendar that you have today right in front of you, how does it show you you relate in space and time today? Some may say, and get the usage of the modern day calendar mixed up with the purpose. So I'm not talking about it let you know your holidays, it let you know your birth date or specific days that you have appointments on. I'm not talking about that. That's the usage of a calendar, your modern day calendar, but it's not the purpose of your modern day calendar. See, the purpose of a calendar, I'm gonna repeat again, is to show you, the human being, how you relate in space and time. What space and time, Brother Mooco? This space and time, right now, this space and time. That's what your calendar is supposed to show you. So if your calendar is just giving you usages or showing you holidays that don't pertain to you, birthdays that aren't really yours if you're a man, because if you're a man, you don't have birthdays. I've never seen a man give birth. Birthdays are for your mother. Women give birth. So that's what birthdays are for. Now, days that you're born, men have born days. Very important. And down the line, we're going to see why little teeny misnomers like that, like birthdays and never being taught what a born day is, little misnomers like that, when you get little things like that mixed up, then you can mix up what the whole meaning of sex is. Okay? And we're going to get into the meaning of that because all this ties into how we are confused by modern day, just everyday modern day relations. Okay, the way that we're taught how to relate to each other and what's around us, and how they exempt something like nature, which is hard to exempt nature when it's right outside your door. But racism, white supremacy does that all the time. Now, here we go with the calendar. I said that your calendar is supposed to show you how you relate in time and space. Well, when you are, the calendar that your modern day or your Greco-Roman calendar came from, it has a name. And I used to refer to this calendar as the real calendar, but of course, it's not the real calendar. It's called the sidereal calendar. Now, of course, side of real has real in it, but this is how a calendar like that would look. This right here is, I hope you can see it clearly. This is a Kemetic sidereal calendar or sidereal calendar. Hope y'all can see that clear. Thanks for the light. And this calendar is the calendar, if you can see this word, Kemetic. Okay, this is our ancestors, which were Kemetic people. They already had this stuff figured out. They already knew how to relate in time and space. And they even knew how many days in a week it was, what a real week was. This calendar, you can get it from, you can get it online. You can get this calendar from any Earth Center that's near you, and you can look up Earth Center online at what is it, earthcenter.org.
Yeah.
But these calendars are very, very interesting. Once I had a true understanding about nature and paying attention to how I relate to time and space, it made this real easy to, or it made it real easy to make sense to me how we have been so misled. A calendar is like your roadmap, okay? When you're born into this existence, first thing you're taught besides your name is what? The date, right? Because you got to know how, okay, what day it is, what time it is. You know, you're always being constantly reminded of, you know, what day it is. There you go. Thank you, Brother Rashiki. So this is your modern day calendar. And real interesting. I'm glad that you brought this month up, which is really interesting. The month of February. What do we know about February? We know that February every 4 years is something called what? A leap year, right? Well, this leap year is very, very important because when our ancestors, well, when I'm gonna call him by his real name, Julius Caesar, put this calendar that we see right here on our screen into existence by decree, he didn't say the real month, which this month is depicting, is a month not called February, but it's actually called a month called Tapia. Okay, but Julius Caesar knew that, look, in order for me to change and this time and make it conducive to me, I have to not take the days from, all right, first our weeks were 10 days. We have 10 days in a week. Well, Caesar first, in making this Greco-Roman calendar that you see on the screen that Brother Rashiki is so, I'm so grateful that he's sharing. To bring this calendar in existence, he first tried to make weeks 5 days instead of 10. So for our ancestors that already knew that it was 10 days in a week, you know, Caesar making a decree, making it 5 days, it was easy for them to still practice the original tradition. You know, it's 10 days in a week. Okay, yeah, you say it's 5, whatever. Well, Caesar took it a step further because, see, our ancestors knew they knew that just like nature, energy never dies. So Caesar, say, slaughtering 100 of our ancestors because they wouldn't practice this calendar that he brought into existence, it was nothing to them because to them, they weren't scared of death. They didn't fear death. So Caesar seen that he wasn't making any progress with his 5-week calendar. So he changed it from a 5-week calendar, a 5-day-a-week calendar, to a 7-day-a-week calendar. That way, we, the descendants of our ancestors, could no way track back or make a symbolism of 7 days to 10 days, like we could with the 5 days. Okay, so this is where your 7-day week calendar comes from. Now, indeed, our months are broken up into 30 days, but actually, it's only 3 weeks in a month, not 4. Okay? And to learn more about your sidereal calendar, You can, for people that got Android phones, you can go into your Play Store and you can just type up Kemetic sidereal calendar, and it has a free app. And it also has an app that you pay a one-time fee for. It's like $3.99, but it is very well much worth it because it is so much knowledge about the origin of this map and how to use, I mean, not this map, this calendar, and how to use the real calendar and how this calendar relates to each and every one of us, black or white. It doesn't even matter. It pertains to us because we're of nature. What makes this calendar so unique, I'm gonna just breeze through a few parts of it because it is necessary. It shows you how you relate in time and space, all the way down to what you're supposed to be eating, to what you're not supposed to be eating, certain times of the year, things that you're not supposed to be eating. But very importantly, I'm gonna show you a part on here. If you see, every month that I kind of roll past, you kind of see like a, I don't know if you can see this clear, but this is a image. An image of what you might think is called a pharaoh, right? This is actually a netter, okay? And what did I tell you the word netter was? Was God, right? Okay, this is a God that governs the month, this month of Penrenu, okay, which we've been taught is the month of April and May, okay? But this is the deity that governs this month. The deity that governs this month has a specific duty in this existence. One question I had, I think it was from Brother Armin Ra. He was asking, he brought up the point that I mentioned numerous gods and how I mentioned that you have a deity that it's his specific, and I say his, but please understand, when I say his, I'm not saying that this deity is a he or a she. I'm just using his for conversation's sake between us human beings, okay? But it's a specific deity that just creates hearts, lungs, and that is that deity's specific job. The deity of Ra, which Brother Amun Ra has his name in his name, Ra. Well, Ra, that deity Ra, his specific duty is to bring harmony to this existence. That's his only duty, okay? Ra doesn't have anything to do with us getting a new job, us praying to Ra to get a new job. He doesn't have anything to do with that. Ra doesn't have anything to do with water raining from the sky. He doesn't have anything to do with that. All Ra's specific duty is to bring harmony to this existence. Now, can you even fathom what kind of job, what kind of energy, what kind of details that entails to do? I can't even fathom the thought of bringing harmony to all of existence. But we don't even think about that. See, what we have been taught by the Romans and the Greeks is, oh, knock out all, well, not so much the Greeks, but the Romans is, oh no, it's just one God that made everything, is just responsible for any and all things possible. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Our ancestors knew this. And this was information that was supposed to be passed down through tradition. But through the rise of racism, white supremacy, and invasion and invasion and invasion after invasion of our ancestral lands and the bastardization of our traditions, we get the the fully bastardized, filthy version that will not help us grow spiritually, which is most important in this existence, because when we transcend, it is jobs that your offspring have to do to make sure that the cycle keeps going. And what cycle am I talking about? I'm talking about the cycle of reincarnation. And it's so real that if you ever had anything like a deja vu, or you ever been in a place where you never been before, but you're so familiar with it, that's because you were here before. And that's evidence that you've been here before. We are all ancestors, and we're going to come back again. But it really depends on if you start getting back in tune with nature and not ignoring what's unseen. Because the evidence of what's unseen, again, I will always say this probably every time in future broadcasts that I'm on, the evidence of the unseen is speaking to you right now through this thing that I'm calling a voice, okay? This is evidence that this spirit exists in this existence. But to understand that, we have to understand that everything that we have been taught, everything that we have been taught completely, totally backwards for the reason of stunning our spiritual growth. And that is whether it be confusing spirituality with religion, confusing it with atheism, confusing it with anything other than nature. Okay? It's everything that we are taught is to keep us out of balance with nature, even down to what we eat. Okay? Even down to what we eat. Have you noticed that I could have diabetes, right? And Brother Rashiki could have diabetes, right? Brother Rashiki could go to the hospital and could be doing better with his diabetes. I could go to the same hospital and get the same treatment and my diabetes get worse. That's not by coincidence. That's not because we're two totally different people. I mean, it is because we're two totally different people, but not for the reasons that we have been taught. See, Brother Rashiki might have been born in the month of Atiri, and I might have been born in the month of Tahuti, okay? And in my month, my sacred animals are chicken, frog, and cobra. And I am not supposed to eat or consume any of those animals. But I'm eating chicken all day. Brother Rashiki is born in the month of Atiri. His sacred animals are cow, vulture, and sacred bull. So Brother Rashiki is not supposed to be eating anything burger, no cow, no steak, none of that. But Brother Rashiki just happened to stop eating beef, okay? Because somebody told him, hey, brother, you should stop eating beef because beef, it's just not good for you. Now, he didn't stop it because of spiritual reasons, but he stopped it. And his situation got better. Mind you, we're going to the same doctor, getting treated for the same disease, diabetes, right? But I'm constantly eating chicken, something that I'm not supposed to be eating. By the way, Brother Rashiki's eating chicken. because it's totally fine for him to eat chicken. Why? Because he was born in the month of Turi. And in the month of Turi, chicken is not one of the sacred animals of his month. But chicken is one of the sacred animals of my month. And every time I eat that chicken, I'm committing murder. Now, even if I was Christian, even if I was Catholic, what commandment am I breaking when I commit murder? I'm breaking a commandment, right? All right. See, what I'm telling you is by us following something that we have no knowledge of, that we've done no research on, has us totally out of sync with nature and what we eating. And this is happening all around the globe. And guess what? The white supremacist that's in charge, that knows what's going on, knows how he's mixing us all up, he's making money off of it. How, Brother Mooco? By sending you to the hospital, by you wasting money on this insurance that he put in place for you to be paying. Guess what? Just in case something happened, he know it's going to happen though, because he got you eating wrong, he got you drinking wrong, he even got you praying wrong. Because you're praying to some God or some Jesus or some Jehovah and not even praying to your ancestors. And I told y'all the significance of your ancestors in the last program. You know what I'm saying? Netters are clean. Netters will never come in the sight of anything dirty. And my brothers, I just got out of the shower. That's why I was a little bit late coming to you, because I had to be clean giving y'all this message. Every time I deliver a message like this, I make sure I'm clean, not just on the outside, but on the inside too. Because this is information that should have been passed down by my father's fathers to me. But luckily, I had someone that loved me enough to share this with me, and now I'm sharing it with you. So, with that being said, this ties in.
Excuse me, Brother Mooco.
Yes.
Now, where did you, so can you tell us who brought you this information, or where did you get it from?
Well, this information that I just shared with you about the calendar, I got it from numerous places. Of course, just like you, I was taught by the white supremacists about Julius Caesar and the Greeks. So when I first found out, what made me study about where did this calendar come from, the way that I bumped into this calendar was actually from an elder of mine in my family who happens to be an initiate in the Kemetic philosophy traditions, ancestral tradition of philosophy and Kemetic spirituality. And he first told me about this calendar years ago, probably about 5 to maybe 6 years ago. I've seen something similar to it before, but I guess in that time, in my early age, I guess I was in my early 20s, maybe even like 18 or 19. Yeah, I guess it was too early. It was too early. I didn't know what to do with it, or I didn't understand it at the time. But I got this calendar from a place called the Earth Center. I mentioned the Earth Center. You can read more about the Earth Center because there's an Earth Center in California, San Diego. It might be one in Compton near you, Brother Rashid. But you can go on earthcenter.org. They have a whole website. They'll tell you about the founder of the Earth Center. He's actually a high priest from the Dogon tribe. His name was Master Naba. And you can also download the calendar on your phone, Android or Apple phone. And the calendar will give you even more information. And the reason why I say it's better if you read it and get it this way, because you can have time to digest it and it won't just be Brother Mooco telling you about this information. It'll be more so like I'm just being the candlelight. I'm being the candlelight and giving you just showing you the direction and you take it from there, because every individual spirit or soul, if that's how you want to refer to it, is we are accountable for what we know, but more, very, very much more important, family. We are held accountable for the things that we do not know. Okay? A lot of people will hit you with that myth that they've been hitting me with since I was 5. It ain't your fault if you don't know. Don't listen to that crap. Nature don't show you pity for what you don't know. In other words, what I'm saying, if nature give you a hurricane and you sit your ass out there in that hurricane gonna suck your butt up. Nature gonna suck you up and rearrange your body and dismantle you with no apology. You know why? Because you are held accountable for the things you know, but more importantly, you are very much well held accountable for the things that you do not know. The reason for that is because if you made it to this part of this existence where I'm talking to you and you have all your intelligences intact. What intelligences, Brother Mooco? Your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your fingers, your hands, your toes, your feet. All these intelligences, all this equipment was given to us. And we made it through the womb with all of it. But guess what it's for? It's for us to learn and observe and know, not believe. Know. Okay? I'm going to say that again real slow. It's for us to know, not believe. Okay? If you were born without hands, then I think I may give you a pass on believing on something you may believe, because you don't have the intelligences of your hands to do certain things that you need to do to know. But long as you got all these intelligences, guess what? You ain't got no excuse. You ain't got no excuse not to know. So therefore, you ain't got no excuse to believe. You either know or you find out. Not to know is being lazy. And you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that one way or another. That's what I do know. And the evidence shows me that every day. I work for myself. I have my own company or companies. Me and my wives, we work for ourselves. We get out here every day and we find jobs, meaning we don't report to a building or somebody that pays us a payroll check every day. So we get out there and we get business, and that's we go and get that business. We don't sit back and, well, I'm gonna believe that people's gonna come. No, we gotta get out there. We gotta get out there and know that we're gonna get this business. Or you don't eat. It's the same way with this basic knowledge. The more you ignore it, the worse it's going to be. The worst is not just going to be for you, but the worst is going to be for your offspring. And we are the evidence of that too. Look how late we are coming into this evidence of just paying attention to nature. We are just at our late ages deciphering the difference between spirituality and religion. This includes me. I'm not exempt from this. Just because I'm bringing y'all this information, this does not make me exempt from what I'm saying, because I'm even disappointed in myself. I don't grade myself higher than a 2. I sound like Nearly Fuller. I don't grade myself higher than a 2 in anything, because I know how much behind the ball I am. And not just me observing nature, but even me teaching this to my offspring. And I teach it to them daily because they have to know to teach it to their offspring, and so on and so forth. Because the funny thing about this is when you really start paying attention to nature, you'll really start seeing things that are so obvious that really haven't been obvious to you before. Like I explained something, or I got into uh, bloodline and destiny line, and I didn't clear it up last week, but I want to clear that up and get into that before this broadcast is over with tonight. And it kind of ties into what I'm about to get into. When we look outside and we see trees, right? Do you see have you ever seen a tree with legs like a dog? No, I haven't. The reason for that is because trees die, and when they come back, every season trees die, and every season they come back. And when they come back, they don't come back as horses or zebras. They come back as trees. We come back the same way. If a tree dies and semen is put in that place, or the root is up, or if a tree dies and the root is uplifted, then that tree won't grow back. It doesn't come back. Now, I just said something to y'all that I only observed by observing nature. I'm sure y'all observed that too. Probably didn't think about it in the way that I just threw it at you, but that's how we are. That's how spirituality is. Okay. Um, our roots, think of your roots like your bloodline. Okay. That's why they always throw that term family tree around. Okay. That comes from bloodline. Okay. The whole family tree, the root and everything, that all comes from bloodline. Okay. Now, last time when we were on this broadcast, I told you that you get your bloodline from your father, and you get what's called the destiny line from your mother. Okay. All women, only women can give a destiny line. Only men, only fathers can give what's called the bloodline. Okay. And I think I explained this last time that science also shows us this when a woman is carrying an unfertilized egg in them, which is called a embryo. Okay. And it doesn't make a change or transformation until it is fertilized by sperm to then make it a fetus. That fetus, the sperm brought to the embryo and made it a fetus, which brings the blood into play. Okay, this is why the father is responsible for the bloodline. The mother is responsible for your destiny. This is why you might have heard, even people older than me might have heard the old tale. Yeah, you can be damned by your father all day. You know, you don't have to worry about that. But if you damned by your mother, you better make sure that you make good or make right with your mother before the sun come up the next morning. And that's because your mother controls your destiny. Okay, your mother plays a very important part in your destiny. She is what connects you to your spiritual family, meaning your relatives who died before you were even a thought, probably before your mom was even born, who you don't even know. This is what keeps us connected. Mothers do this. This is why they're so important. But for your bloodline, the reason why I was getting into bloodline, because of how you come back. I said, if you look in nature, right, and I keep pointing this way. I'm sorry, I keep pointing this way because my window. I have a big bay window in my living room, and I'm looking right out at nature every day, all day. That I have the privilege of sitting here at my learning station and just glancing out and observing things. But I said trees don't come back as um, pigs. I'm gonna get to that question, brother. How does that work if your mother is deceased? Your mother is still responsible for your bloodline. So your mother if your mom is deceased, your mom, if she had any sisters, you still have mothers here. If she didn't have any sisters, your mother is still watching over you in the spiritual existence. Um, and this is the reason why, brother, if your mother is passed or has passed while you were here, like after you were born and you knew her, you have to do what's called the opening of the mouth so that she can become an ancestor and start going to the netter on your behalf so that certain things won't hinder you here in this existence. Most of the time, when you have a hindrance in your spiritual line, it shows up in this existence as a health issue. Okay. But again, we are kept away from this information because if they told you this, of course, yeah, you would then be going to uh, uh, a witch doctor or a voodoo healing priest to get what's going on in your bloodline straight so that your health will be straight. And I've seen the evidence of this countless times since I've been privy to it. Even with myself, I got diagnosed with what's called breast cancer about 5 to 6 years ago, maybe. And I wasn't privy to this information like I am now about my health being a direct link to something going on in my bloodline. But at the time of that diagnosis, my father had just passed not too long ago. And after my father, my grandmother had transcended. At the time, I didn't know that I had to do an opening of the mouth ceremony so that they can become ancestors. At this time, I thought that soon as you transcend, you automatically become an ancestor. Again, I didn't know it was a process, but thank the netters that our ancestors did the work already and that it was still left here for me and for others to learn from and to share with others that have no clue of it or been told a bastardized version of it. But anyway, in doing that or learning that I had to do an opening of the mouth ceremony for not just my relatives or my father, but you can do it for your mother, you can do it for your father, you could do it for any of your relatives that you knew or didn't know. But when you are doing this opening of the mouth ceremony, which again is making your dead relative an ancestor, you're doing this because you're supposed to pray to your ancestors. And if you're not doing the opening the mouth for ceremony, what ancestors are you praying to? Okay. Remember, I told you this system is designed, and the reason why they keeping this knowledge and stuff away from us and kept our ancestors from passing it down is because they didn't want us to spiritually grow. They didn't want us to know that we reincarnate, because then we wouldn't have a fear of death. Then we would again pay attention to nature and everything that's going on around us, because I don't know how to make it really important, or I don't know how to make I don't know how to make you understand how important it is that each and every one of us individually have to do our own individual spiritual work. Okay? Because this is not something that just Brother Rashiki can do for his whole family. No, your daughters, your sons have to be practicing this, because guess what? We die. Okay? We die. So when we die, what dies with us? All the information that we had. Okay, unless we recorded it down, unless somebody is diligent and detailed enough to even read the information that we leave behind. And guess what? They're even going to perceive it a certain way. So we have to be there in person passing it down. This was the importance of word of mouth and tradition, passing out traditions down. I'm telling you, family, this is why they stopped it. And the more and more we feed into the confusion of religions and arguing about religions and arguing about beliefs and discussing beliefs, the more and the further we move away from our purpose. Because all of our purpose is the same. All of our purpose is the same. I don't even have to know you to tell you what your purpose is. First of all, your purpose is to be more constructive and to leave this earth in a more constructive way than you came into it. That's your first mission. Anybody, I don't care who you are, even your personal uh uh missions, your personal purpose. Your personal purpose is to solve problems. What problems, Brother Mooco? You wake up in the morning, your underarms stink. That's a problem. You gotta solve it. Wash it. You know what I'm saying? If we just take these little certain things, I'm a problem solver. I have to solve every problem that I come in contact with today. This is being codified. This is what codification is all about. Nature is codified. Believe it or not, family, all you got to do is take 1 hour, 5 minutes, 2 seconds. Just observe it. It's so codified, all the way down to the ants, all the way down to the nets that get in your, that irritate you every time they in your face. Ah, that net has a purpose. So um, this broadcast tonight is just to hopefully help y'all understand how important it is that we pay attention to nature even more now than ever, because of certain things that they're trying to push on um, society today, especially Black people and people around the world that look like me and you, non-white people. The confusion that they're throwing at us medically, sexually, socially, uh, it all ties into us ignoring nature. Because the more we ignore nature, the more you can poison us, the more you can kill us, the more that we're out of tune with this thing that we live on called the earth. We are supposed to be one with the earth. We're supposed to be grounding ourselves every day with the earth. But the more and more we are, I hope I have this right, the more and more we are conductors of the earth, the further and further away we get away from our spirituality, and the closer that we get to our religious uh, beliefs and uh, beliefs. The more it takes us away from what our purpose is and this existence. And so I just hope that all of you have time to um, download the sidereal calendar, the Kemetic sidereal calendar, so that we can have discussion about it. And all discussion is questions and answers. And I hope I answered your question, brother, about what if your mother has already passed away. Your mother is definitely waiting for you to make her an ancestor so that she can start helping you and her grandchildren, if you have any, um, get through this existence that we call life.
Okay, Brother Mooco,
Yes, sir.
two things. Can you be specific on the opening of the mouth ceremony?
Yes. The opening of the mouth ceremony is usually done by a Dogon priest. Oh, I need a charging cord. I'm sorry. Sorry, fellas. It's usually done by a Dogon priest or a metaphysics uh, um, priest of some, but usually a Dogon priest. And you can and this is why I say you can get a little bit more reading about, get a little bit more information about earth readings and things of that nature by going to the earthcenter.org. And they got all of the information in detail there. But it's just the opening of the mouth is just a thing that's done. Exactly what I said is it's a thing that's done for your dead relatives to make them ancestors. And this is something that's a spiritual term. I know it probably does not make a lot of sense, me explaining it the way that I'm explaining it, but you have to it's more so like a spiritual procedure that's done so that your dead relative can become an ancestor and so that you can honor them properly. When I say that you're supposed to pray to your ancestors and so that they can go to the netter or gods on your behalf, well, this is one of the things that our ancestors, this is one of the many things that they already figured out. And I call it opening of the mouth because that's how it was explained to me, and that's actually that's the name of the ritual that's being done when that's being done. But again, it is that's the best way that I can explain it. They can explain it a little bit more on the earthcenter.org website, and I can just I hope that answers your question a little bit better.
Okay, so can you put in the chat the spelling of the calendar that you mentioning?
Yes, sir. I sure can. Can.
Or yeah. Okay, well, let me
maybe everybody can screenshot my screen.
I'll put it in the chat.
If you're on the phone, yeah.
That it. Oh, somebody did already.
Yep, they sure did. Yeah, that was my wife.
But they didn't put, okay. She didn't put Kemetic. There it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, this calendar is very, very important because just like I said, it shows you how you relate in time and space, and this time and space. And I'm gonna tell you just from the information of the sacred animals in every birth month, explaining that to my children, and you can see a difference in just the way that they act, just from those little things being taken out of their diets that they were never supposed to be eating in the first place. Even when I stopped eating the sacred animals that I was eating in my month of my birthday, of my born day, which is why I'm even sharing this information with my family, because I would never share anything that I haven't first put through the ringer and to test myself. It has made a big difference in my life, even in my health. I just told you I was diagnosed with breast cancer, had a big old lump in my chest the size of a golf ball removed, but I did not do their medicines. I let them cut the lump out of my chest, but everything else I did was holistic. I just started paying attention to nature, paying attention to nature and nature's medicines that I was taught that were called foods, but they're really your medicines. I think yeah, she put in the Earth Center website as well in the chat for anybody that's interested in taking a look. Everybody that's on this line and on this broadcast tonight, your ancestors brought you here today, whether it been your deceased mother or your deceased father or your deceased great grandmother. You are here for a reason. You're hearing this message for a reason, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And thank you, love. And even if you don't agree, once you hear the message, you can't unhear it. And once you come in contact with it again, whether it be today or tomorrow or the day after, it's going to resonate with you. I'm guaranteeing, because this work that you already see, even down to the screen that was just shared, the Madu writing and at the bottom of the calendar, this is our language. In the Madu language, you have over 600 characters, and each character has its own concept. How many letters do we have in the English alphabet? 26. And how many of them have a concept, a meaning? Not even half of them. Punctuations have more concepts than and meanings than the actual letters that we use to spell words and make our sentences in, with. So, um, you know, I'm just happy to learn and to share what I've learned with my family, whom I've, haven't gotten the chance to meet physically in person yet, but this is this is all happening for a reason. Nothing happens by chance, y'all. And y'all getting this information because it was supposed to have been passed down to us eons ago. And even though we getting a late start, better late than never. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start honoring our ancestors, because soon we are going to become dead relatives. Hopefully awaiting to be ancestors. And I can only hope that you guys get the message tonight and start working on your offspring, start working on your siblings. Because bottom line is, when you're ready, you ain't got to get ready, and this whole life, all life is this existence is a classroom. From the time that we're born, even our death is a learning experience. I don't know nobody on this line that's died before and come back and tell me everything that can happen. They can't tell me about the road to the Emtet. They can't tell me about when they chose their body to come back in this bloodline. But just because nobody is not here to tell us about that right now, don't mean it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, once you start learning what your ancestors already took the time to figure out, you'll start noticing that you don't have it really all makes sense, and you don't have to make it make sense. You don't have to, get a bunch of different Bibles or a bunch of different Qurans or whatever. And and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but this is not about feelings. You don't have to get a whole bunch of translations to make this stuff make sense. I mean, it makes sense just like nature, just like the trees that's flowing together from the wind that's pushing them right outside your window. It makes sense just like that. Just like that. Just like that. And family, all I'm saying is just observe it. Just observe it for yourself.
Uh, Brother Mooco,
Yes, sir.
you gonna get some questions in from the panel?
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
So you gonna call them out, or you want me to?
Can you call them out for me, brother? Because my
Yeah.
phone is I'm
Okay.
on the phone and it's charging right now, so I don't want to
Okay.
make it
So
dim out.
Shakir already asked one question. Maybe you have another one. You can type it in, Brother Shakir. Brother Mashinda, question?
No, no question right now, brother. This great presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother
Yeah.
Michelle.
Okay, Brother
Always
Y.
great to have you, man. I
Uh,
don't even know how to get in this thing.
yeah, can't hear Y too well.
Oh, you gotta mute yourself.
He's unmuted. He probably, I don't know if he's able to, the transitioning is not coming through well. Go ahead, Brother Hembrick.
No,
Okay, Dove Zakia, I see you.
no, he is muted. Raw is muted. I'm looking on.
No, I'm saying Y, Brother Y.
Oh, Wahid. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't know. I don't think it's coming in. The transition is not coming in well.
Did you say brother Waib?
Wahid.
Waib. Okay, I have an elder. I have a hot knee. His name is Waib.
All right, Brother Hembrick, you go ahead.
Brother Mooco, you were talking about the trees and how they die and come back to life. That's for you guys on the East Coast, but out on
Yes,
the
sir.
West Coast, we don't get that. So, what's the thing that happens on the West Coast? 'Cause we don't get those winters, and then spring stuff comes back to life. So, got another example for the West Coast folks?
Thanks, brother Henbrick. Well, you said roses.
Palm trees die.
Well, palm trees. I believe the palm trees do die. In the West Coast.
Roses,
Palm trees.
Roses could be an example because they are cut down. I know my gardener nips them all down and then they come back. Yeah, so roses could be adequate.
Yeah, roses and weeds, because weeds, Cali got a lot of weeds too, right?
Not on mine. I
Not
keep.
on yours?
I'm on it. I'm getting all the dead stuff out of there and all of the nature that I'm around. It brings bugs and the bugs hide behind that dead stuff. So I try to keep my garden and my roses free of that stuff.
Oh, okay. But yeah, roses, yeah, my wife, she's really sharp on that. But yeah, roses, that's a perfect example. Roses don't come back as tulips, you know?
Exactly.
So nature just shows that everything is in line and in sync. And it's something that I think nature screams at us all the time. But again, with all of the problems and everyday stresses that we're bombarded with, we are just so drawn away from paying attention to everything that's happening around us to even link the two together. Most of the time, I even hear a lot of us, even I used to be a victim of this sometimes, saying, man, this goddamn world gets on my nerves. I can't stand this damn earth, but not even realizing that I'm of the earth. So how am I saying this, But, when we're taught the bastardized way that we're taught, then we start thinking we're outside of something that we're definitely in, that we're inside of. And, it's something that I always say, I was talking to my son the other day and I said, well, chicken born in a stove, is it still a chicken or what is it? And he was like, well, it's a chicken. I said, okay, well, you are you're a human being, but what's inside your skin? You're a spirit, right? He's like, well, yeah, I am a spirit. And I said, okay, you're a spirit that is back in this existence. But your spirit is an energy. And yet that energy had to come, that source that energy came from, that source is a real source. Is I was showing him that the evidence of that source is, right here, conversing with you. So you have to know that that's real. That's something that you don't have to believe. You either way you look at it. So I was just, I'm always trying to now pay more attention to the things that we are uh, bred or brought up to not pay attention to or kind of gloss over, you know, and paying attention to nature. I'm just really starting to see, without a lot of emotion added to it, how we have been so backwardlessly confused about everything. And again, this is not because we're backwards people or we're dumb or stupid. No, no, no. This is all deliberate. Okay? This is all deliberate. This is like me playing a big trick on you. Okay? That's what this existence, that's what racism, white supremacy does to this existence, does to us in this existence. It plays a big trick on us by throwing religion at us and throwing religion, belief, faith, and hope. Throwing all that in one and giving it to you as a package as this is um this is what it is. This is the truth. That's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry. Packaging all that up, right? Packaging your belief, your hope, your faith, packaging it all up and saying, this is your truth. When that's the furthest thing from the truth. That's the biggest trick that's been played on humanity.
Secondly, I'm going to go on the website and check out the stuff about the speaking ceremony, because none of us have access to a Dogon priest that I know of, unless we over in Mali and whatnot. So I'll get there. And the third thing I want to mention, I just came into, I didn't just come into it, but I just went over it again, and I texted out to most of you brothers today about the DNA series that was discovered. And
yes.
Those that I didn't get, as far as DNA, you got certain chimpanzees and gorillas go 3, 4, 5, and most of human beings, non-Africans, have 6 series of DNA.
Right.
Out that the people on the continent of Africa have 9.
9. Right. Right. I was watching that, Brother Hendrick. One of my sisters from my generation actually passed me that information, and I was just looking at that probably maybe about an hour before me and Brother Rashidi talked this morning. And it was just like, whoa.
Oh, that was me sent that to you.
Oh, that was you? Oh, okay. Because I knew it was in the group. I knew it was in the group chat, and I was watching that.
I sent that to everybody I know that has a mind that can receive it. So I'm glad everybody enjoyed it, and I'll be furthering other information as I get it. So I'm gonna let somebody.
Oh, okay. Because you know what, Brother Hendrick, you're right. I'm apologies for interrupting. You're right. You sent it in a group text, and my sister sent it in my classroom group text. Okay. So y'all actually sent the same clip. Okay. Both of y'all. But okay. You're right. I seen it in your group text first.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Brother, I'm gonna let Brother Ross, somebody, whoever Ascani wanna call in.
Anyway. I got that too, Hendrick. I just watched it before we came on. So that was very interesting. All right, Brother Ra.
Did y'all happen to because I wanted to share with Brother Ra too about, did y'all see the article? Did you post the article in the New York Times from 1997, 1897 about vaccination wars.
Didn't you send that?
Yeah, I sent it to you, Brother Rashidi, in your email, but I thought you posted it on the website.
No, it haven't been put on the website yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to, well, we can continue on with the questions, but I wanted to mention a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, let's go with Brother Ra.
Bangani again, Brother Mooco. Sante Sana, which is many thanks for your wealth of knowledge and sharing of information. Let's have
Dual means you welcome in Madu.
You must
Nini means you're welcome in Madu. So Nini.
Very well. Sante for that. When you say nature is God or goddess, are you talking about a spiritual God or a God that is, some people don't think God is a spirit. They just think that, that there's just a God that created everything. But what aspect when you say nature is God?
That's a good question, by the way, Brother Ra. What I mean by nature is God. When I say God, when I was explaining that, I was explaining the word netter. And netter is the Madu word for what we have been taught is the word God. So see, God was really an earthly title. Okay, if we look at the history of that word, the word God was an earthly title like Lord, like you have Lord Ramsey or Lord Bolton or Lord Baltimore, rather, for the city that I live in, it was a Lord Baltimore. So they were like kind of earthly titles. And God was never like a deity. You know what I'm saying? So when I say nature is when I was saying netter, not nature, but when I say nature, I look at nature as spirituality. So that's what I was saying. When I look at nature, nature is spirituality. It gives you the answer.
Because people have been creating gods since they've been on the planet, or trying to figure out who the creator is. From a cosmos standpoint, starting with lunar gods, solar gods, then they went to a spiritual God. Something. Jesus. It's hard to question when you just believing in something that's spiritual. But let me get on to, as you said, unseen energies, spirituality, right. Nature. And then, you ever hear the term totem? Totems?
Totems?
Yeah, totem, like a totem pole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totem, and symbols that you can find in many, even today among many Africans, they deify a lot of the things that they believed in. If it's water, they're the Niletic people. And if they, in the mountains, they gave a name for that, or in things of this nature. The whole concept of totem. I think John D. Jackson's book, because see, John D. Jackson, John Henry Clark, and Dr. Ben, they wanted to go before religion was started or spirituality was started. They wanted to go into what they call the primary history. And within the context of that primary history, they tried to build up to where we are today. That's why he put out a chronology of Bibles, or Dr. Ben did, and why John D. Jackson, he wrote the book. And he starts talking about the matriarchal system versus the patriarchal system and how it changed based upon men organization, from going from food gatherers to food producers.
Mhm.
That's different.
Right.
you
Right.
know, and that's where agriculture came from.
Mhm.
And the whole you said that the blowgun is why you have a gun today.
Right.
And the
Right.
blowgun, and then she says the use of fire and the control of fire was the most important thing to the people. How do you see the 4 seasons, or are there 4 seasons? As far as within the calendar perspective of months and things of this nature, like we're supposed to be coming up to fall if we're not in fall, summer, solar, because it has nothing to do with the equator. It has nothing to do with various things. How are we to see those dynamics? Because you say, you know, nature, whether you make you pay no matter what, if you know about it, if you don't, you know. But
Mhm.
how do we deal with the seasons in regard to the health calendar that you posted?
Okay. Yeah. Good question again. Very good question. The seasons, the way we deal with them, first we have to recognize that the seasons are rhythms of larger cycles that we have to understand. Just like Brother Hembrick made a good point to me. He said, Brother Mooco, we don't go through fall over here in California. You know, we don't go through winter when everything dies. And yeah, that may be true, but sometimes I've spent time in San Diego and California, LA, and y'all definitely don't have a winter over there, but sometimes in the morning it gets pretty rigid, just like it does in Florida. So it's all about paying attention to our diets in terms of um, the the cycles of seasons that we go through is very important. And in this calendar, it also shows you the things that you should be eating or that is most nutritional for you in that time period, so to speak. You know, like in the colder months, like for a person that's like me, that's so on the East Coast, in the colder months, it would definitely be behoove me to eat more beans and more hot meals versus eating a salad or a smoothie because of, you know, the temperature or the season that I may be in versus like summertime. I'm always eating a salad or taking a smoothie for breakfast or eating some veggies, you know. So it's definitely um in that aspect it's helpful, but it's more so helpful about illnesses that you may be experiencing due to the climate of that certain season. You know, summertime, it may be more susceptible for you to get maybe gout or something of that nature. So the Kemetic calendar gives you sort of like natural remedies for things that are prone to that certain time and space. You know what I'm saying? That certain season that you may be going through. And that's what, again, why these calendars are so helpful and why they were so important and why these things aren't displayed in the Greco-Roman calendar that we follow today. You know, because those things just not they don't even mention that in any calendar that I've ever seen. How about you, Brother Rock?
Well, you know, that people created a lot of calendars.
Okay, yeah, this is true.
You know,
This is true.
they, you know, it's ones who could impose it. Like
Okay,
even the clock, you know,
right.
all of that is human created. You know, people in the South just sun up, sun down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there were no lights at one time. There was none of that. But when you go back even further, That's why, a lot of people like to begin our history in slavery, some in the Holocaust of enslavement. Some believe human history started in ancient history because that's when writing is supposed to start with the Papyrus Papers and then going on into the pyramid writings and signs and symbols of the hieroglyphics. And Wasdev Bulge's book, The Book of the Dead, and people learn how to read those. But there's a period that people call the unwritten history or prehistory or primary history, where people were just discovering who they were and their powers, and they just dealt with instinct until they became more rational, and then they grew and grew and grew to the point where they got secure enough where they could come up with philosophies and belief systems that to answer people's questions. Because most people were just afraid. They were afraid of thunder, lightning, afraid of everything. And the only mirror was looking in the water and seeing your reflection. There was no mirrors that you have in the house today where you can see yourself. You don't see yourself when you look in the water. But getting back to the point of the era of discovery, people discovered, their abilities and, how to use their hands, as you said, how to use their noses, and everybody mimicking animals and insects and reading nature, as you said. I mean, they used to see insects and they would tell them what type of season, how cold the winter's going to be based upon their behavior. Native Americans did that. Even the Maya, the Native Americans here had a calendar, but when you start talking about the 12 months in John G. Jackson books, he talk about the Herculean calendar and how all of that came about with regards to where they got all the names for the months, the bull, this and that. And he goes through each month in his book about the calendars and things. But my point is that we it's hard for people when you should start with Nether or what they call Mayat or even Dogon or even Yoruba, some of the oldest spiritual centers, and the sacred cow in Yoruba and all of that. All of that goes. There was activity before all of that.
Absolutely.
And even in the building of the institutions, they call them mystery systems because nobody knew how they did what they did. And like you said, there's nobody that can tell you how they did what they did. And so people just make up stories about how they did what they did. But getting back to spirituality, when you teach this to others or provide this dynamic information, how do you tie its relevancy to their life other than eating right and things of this nature? What does it do as far as, because people, mom, I work, I get paid. Right. I don't eat, I don't eat a lot, I don't gain weight. So there's a payoff. What is the payoff, or what is the relevancy of understanding the difference between women having birthdays and men having born days? What is the relevancy? I mean, to the average kid, the person. One of the hardest things we have is our people to accept unique knowledge. And how do you tie it into a relevancy?
Great question again. And you are on fire tonight. That is a great question. And the reason why it is so relevant and how I make it relevant and tie it into relevancy is because with making the distinction that only a woman can have a birth date and only a man can have what's called, I mean, only and a man cannot have a birth date, distinctively lays the groundwork for not confusing my offspring or anyone that I'm teaching this to be sexually confused. Because see, with sex, we have three components, and the birth date and born date is very important to be explained first at an elementary or kind of kindergarten level, so that when you come to learning about sexual education, that you can not be confused, or you will no longer be confused about what's called bisexual or transsexual or anything of that nature. Um, knowing at a very young age that, oh, my mother, she is the one that gives birth, or the woman is the one that gives birth. So that's why she is her birthday, versus, oh, my dad, he doesn't have a birthday. He was born, he has a born day. He could never have a birthday. You know, straightening out something like that at a very young age, and doing that not just in my generation, but the generation before me, the generation before that generation. If it was just done every generation down, then we wouldn't even be confused about something called bisexual or transsexual. We would know that that doesn't even exist according to logic, because involves three things, three very important things. They are two sexual organs, which is vagina and penis, and the third thing that is very important that does not make it sex if it doesn't have this third thing, and that's a possibility of an offspring. Okay, if there's no possibility of an offspring, it's not called sex. It's not called a thing called sex. But that is cleared up when I'm two or when I'm one, and my dad or my mother is explaining to me that you are a boy, you have a born day. It is not your birthday. This is my birthday because I gave birth to you. See how there's no room for confusion, Brother Rock?
Yeah, I see it. I'm just trying to get other people to see it.
Oh, absolutely. No, but when I ask you the question like that, Brother Rock, I say it for the audience, of
Because
course.
we all know that nature provides you an orgasm so that you will have sex.
Yeah.
It rewards you. That's the relevancy. And like you say, sex, the whole cycle of sex is reproduction. The whole purpose of sex is reproduction. And if you're not, all this preventive activities from prophylactics and diaphragms and pills and all that is obscure in nature, keep you from getting pregnant. And that's not the purpose of because they invented all that stuff for labor.
Right.
And population control. Other than that,
right. Absolutely. And it's crazy because when I teach that I have 5 sons and 3 daughters. So when I teach that to my sons, and this is specifically for my sons, my youngest son is 11 years old. And I can remember, well, he's 10, he's going to be 11. And I can remember when he was about 5 years old, we seen a guy on the corner. I never forget it. Full beard, had on a dress and a purse. And my son looked at me and he said, "Dad, why is that guy dressed up like a woman?" And I couldn't say anything, but maybe he's confused or like wearing female clothes. But even when I gave that answer, my 5-year-old looked at me like, is he sick, or is he confused, or because he naturally knew at 5 years old that wasn't I'm not going to say normal, but he seen that that wasn't a codified thing to do. He seen that that wasn't part of the code that he was exposed to at that young age. So I think I even in my own care unit, I'm very, very particular about born days and birthdays, especially to my elders, because when you're stuck in tradition, oh, it's my birthday. Well, it's actually your born day, but I won't tell if you want.
I'm good, Rashid.
Okay, Brother Mooco, we went through everybody.
Okay.
So
Any more?
is there anything else?
So yeah, for tonight, I think that was the conclusion of this. I fear if I go any deeper, it'll be kind of like a rambling on, and I don't like to ramble. I like to have a purpose. So I think that's as far as we go here. The introduction of the calendar and the Earth Center where other individuals that might be wanting to get a little bit more clarity on spirituality and their spiritual purpose, and getting earth readings done and things of that nature. Just wanted to pass on some information where they can dig in a little deeper, and definitely help your ancestors out that are screaming for your help, screaming for your help, so that they can become ancestors to make your life better in this existence, to make our life better as a whole in this existence. Because the truth of the matter is, no matter how young or old you are on this broadcast, we all have offsprings that are going to be here after we're gone, and grandchildren, great grand for some, and it would just behoove you to leave your bloodline in some type of order before you try to go to the next level. Which you will be leaving them in this existence, but their actions are very much well needed where you're going and for where they stand. It's important. It's so important. And I just want to thank Brother Alvin Ra and everybody else, Brother Hembrick, for your questions. Uh, for all of you for your questions, because I wouldn't be here sharing this information if it wasn't for you guys even posing an interest and wanting to know, And so for that, I say dua.
Right. Well, I appreciate you, man, for doing this. Rob, what do you say? That's a good sign of good parenting is when
How the kids act when the parent ain't around.
that's right. So, Brother Buko, so when we go before our children, that's the plan. And when they left behind, hopefully they doing the things they're supposed to do to keep it going.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And with the actions that we're taking right now, even this action of having this program, and I'm going to be back harping on this. So please know, family, this is not the last time you're going to see me, because, just like this was just part 2, but this never stops, I mean, as long as we're here, it's going to be part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it gets deeper. It gets deeper with every conversation, but it has to be opened the right way, and unpacking it slow. You guys being patient and listening and not losing focus is the main thing. Nature is a very focused thing, and we are of nature, and we have the ability to be way more focused than we are. Just on this broadcast alone, we stayed focused and we did not veer off track at all. And that's something that I try to practice even in my everyday life, running my businesses that I run, conducting business the way that I do. I try to do it in such a way that it's codified. And so we just got to get back to that. And I don't think we're too far from it, especially the way that we interacted these last, well, the time that I've even been associated with you guys. You know, every interaction, whether it was heated or not, it's always been codified, and everybody is always sharing very valuable, pertinent information. So this is what this is for, and this is what I'm here for. I'm here to share. So
Yeah.
everything that I come across, I'm going to share.
Excellent, Brother Mooco. Yeah, on that note of focus, I was just talking to my one of my classes today about being focused and how when you are focused, the less mistakes you make. Then I tell them, don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's a learning experience.
Absolutely.
So excellent, man, excellent. So
Absolutely.
looking forward to when we schedule you again to do some more teaching on these concepts. I'm going to definitely check out the Nature Center and all
Earth
of the
Center. Earth Center.
Earth Center. Okay, the Earth
Yeah,
Center.
Earth Center.
And the calendar. I'm gonna look into that. So that's some good information.
Yeah, and I
All
think
right.
it's one near you, brother Rashiki. I urge anyone in your areas, look up an Earth Center, see if it's near you, and I urge you to just go visit it. It's not just go visit it. Just look at what the information that's presented there, and just pay attention to it. And I'm guaranteeing that you will learn something that is definitely necessary to your unique situation. I'm guaranteeing it.
All right.
Whether it's, health-wise, whether it's spiritual-wise, which health and spirit is hand in hand, is a direct link. So you go in there for something health, you're going to get some spiritual growth out of it. Believe me, trust me.
Got you.
So with that, yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back next time. We'll probably move on to another topic, but you will be knowing soon, Brother Rashiki.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So next week we got Dr. Bernard. Dr. Bernard is a naturopathic doctor that I've been to and that I consult on a consistent basis about natural remedies and things of that nature. So, Brother Ra, so you saying that you sued Jabal?
Yeah, I'm still trying to reach him. He's in the country, but like I said, he's working on his book, Conspiracy of Silence, and
Yeah. So,
I hope that reaching by tomorrow, we're gonna have to switch up because I want to get things posted.
Okay, so that's but that'll be a treat for us because I've had him. I met him in your class, and I read his book, and I had him come speak to my class. So he's talking about things that Brother Mooco is talking about. So
I'm a
He
definitely
was into nature. He's been into nature.
yeah. Okay, everybody, each one
All
teach one, and
All right, brother.
Conscious Corner.
All right.
All
I
right.
will be there. Thank you,
All right.
Brother Rob. Thank you, Brother Rashiki, and thank all family on the line.
Okay. Thank everybody.
Man, 2009.
2009.
Peace.